Hello, welcome to the new moon in Leo. So, what does that mean? Leo moons. I know a lot about Leo moons because I have a Leo moon. So, and I've got friends with Leo moons, so I know firsthand what a Leo moon is like. So, Leos are ruled by the sun. So they shine, they glow, they just naturally radiate their personality. When they're doing well, they radiate generosity and playfulness and joyfulness and leadership and even like royal or regal kind of quality, noble quality. And when Leo is not doing well, or if it's afflicted, then it can bring out the narcissistic, diva, domineering, demanding, look at me kind of side of Leo. And an arrogant tendency too sometimes with Leo. So when you put it in the moon sign, it's interesting because the moon is ruling Cancer. It's the psyche, the emotions, the feminine side, the receptive, the quiet. And then Leo is the sun, needs to shine, but it's in the moon instead. So how's that going to happen? So basically what it means is you have somebody who sort of desperately wants to find a place to shine, but doesn't feel it's okay, but they need to find a place, their place in the sun, or their place where it's their world, their stage, their thing to lead. So for a lot of Moon and Leo people, it might end up being their home, where those qualities come out, because then it's like in private, you know. So, and I'm definitely someone like that. You can see, the curtains, and well, maybe this isn't so obvious for Leo, but I used to have, let's just say, more fancy or dramatic taste, and or theatrical kind of taste, and that would come out not so much in how I was carrying myself or the way I dressed, but it was coming out in my home, the way I decorate. So that's one way that a Leo moon might play out. Another way is maybe the person is socially shy, but for some reason they're fine when they're speaking in front of people at a conference. Maybe they are secretly really funny and comedian-like, but they only let it out with like a few close friends. Because when it's the moon sign, it's your emotional needs. It makes it more vulnerable, a little less natural. And so you wait until you find the right conditions and the right safety for it to come out. So even if you're not born with a Leo moon, a Leo new moon could bring that out in yourself or others. If you're seeking a place to feel safe, to shine, if you're seeking the right crowd so that you can come out of your shell, if you're feeling like you need to bring out more of who you are and you're finding a hard time doing that. And we do want to watch for those other signs of a Leo moon, because those other dark sides, like we mentioned, whether it could be judgmental or superior dominant attitudes, which come from hurt, but still, like when it's a Leo moon time, are we going to see people's more dominant or narcissistic or self-involved, self-absorbed traits come out? Possibly. Are we going to see people trying to steal our thunder, upstage us? Yeah. But you can also see people giving other people that spotlight too, and honoring them. So it's all going to come down to how secure are you feeling with yourself, how this Leo moon plays out. But again, whether it's you or the people around you, this is what's in the air. So let's take a look at our chart. There we go. So this chart actually at first glance isn't the easiest chart. If you've been following me for a while here, you probably are familiar now with the aspects that I talk about. So you see the blue ones are where it flows nice and easy, but the red ones are where there is conflicts and oppositions. And in this case, we've got some strong opposition to the sun moon. We've got the opposition of the south and north nodes, accented by Mars and Uranus. And they all form a square, a perfect square. So this really means a lot of stubborn, stuck, or willful energy, because that square is happening in fixed signs. So the fixed signs are the ones that are probably more like routine, secure, and solid, and less budgeable. They're going to be reliable. They're going to commit to things when they commit. They're also not going to be so adaptable. And they're strong, and they're going to dig in their heels, and they will take each other on. So fixed sign, the first one is Taurus. The next fixed sign is Leo. The next fixed sign is Scorpio. And the next fixed sign is Aquarius. So as you see, we've got oppositions and squares in fixed signs. So with a Leo moon and this kind of squaring off, this isn't a great time to be, you know, picking a battle you don't intend to follow through on. Whether that's a debate about something. Again, you know, to me, you can always use energy in good ways. It can play out in good ways and destructive ways. It really depends on your situation. So a good thing of this fixed, stubborn energy is if you have been having trouble either sticking to something you want to commit to, sticking to a boundary that you set, creating better habits and routines and sticking to them. This could be maybe a helpful time for that, but you also might still sort of struggle to do it because of the opposition of the planets. So let's just break it down a little more again. So this chart is cast, as I say, usually for New York, so Eastern time zone, which would mean it's a Scorpio as a rising sign. Again, Scorpio rising is mysterious and private. It can come off as even being aloof, even though it's not. It's very magnetic, draws people. Think of anything that's sort of mysterious. You know, you can feel like a powerfulness about it. It's mysterious, it won't open up, and you feel intrigued, and then it's got this magnetism to it. So it does sort of mean that we might not see or hear a lot about some of these conflictual things in the air, because Scorpio rising will want to keep it on the down low. On the other hand, that sun, moon, and Mercury, not really conjunct, but close enough, is on the midheaven in Leo. So that Leo wants to be seen. The sun and the moon are on top of each other in Leo. It's like, look at me, here I am. It's about me right now. And Mercury is in Leo as well. So definitely going to speak its mind and say what it needs to say and call attention to itself. So therein, as you can right away see, a conflict between Leo and Scorpio. I want to shine. No, you don't see me. People should know what I can do. Let me just go out and show people what I can. No, don't draw attention. So you might get into that kind of dynamic with somebody. You're happy, you want to share something, and they go, clamp it down. Or they say, could you please not tell people right away? Or something like that. Then you've got over here our typical Uranus and Taurus that I talk about all the time. Mars is really close to it now, and it's almost on top of, like, a degree away from the North Node. And so that means to me when Uranus is going to hit the North Node, that would be more of a shift that affects everybody. It's a bigger picture kind of change. Something when Uranus hits directly in a degree, so that'll be within the next month. We could see something happen on a global level that shifts the game. And because it's the North Node, it's shifting it suddenly towards where we need to be going. But with all of this resistance around in the other planets, there will be resistance to going forward with it. But we can expect some sort of wake up or event. I could start projecting things, you know, in the news that I would like it to be, but I won't do that. All this to say, I personally feel that when Uranus hits the North Node, we will see some sort of event that provokes something larger for us all. Also, Mars will be hitting it as well within the next month for sure. And again, Mars emphasizing Uranus and North Node could definitely bring some sort of larger event that we all respond to. It's not so personal, even though it's going to affect people personally, but it's not so much like about you and your introspection and your relationships and all that. This is more like something on the political scene, the environmental scene, something like that shifts us. Something in the economic scene, something shifts and changes things for us all. And again, that North Node, that South Node in Scorpio, pulling us towards the past life direction. The past, again, in Scorpio, that would mean many, many lives of upheaval and like digging down the rabbit hole. Let's just do one more study. Let's just, you know, let's talk about this in therapy. Let's dissect everything and get to the bottom of things. Let's keep that sort of done privately. Taurus, on the other hand, with these other planets, it's not typical Taurus energy when it's Mars and Uranus. It's Taurus usually wants things to be stable and upfront and no big mysteries. Just say it like you feel it. Be who you are. No layers. No, please. You know, just be simple and solid, and secure, comfortable. So they don't really want to go digging into things like Scorpio does. They'll find that sort of a threat, because if you start scratching under the surface, then something might come up that would threaten the stability that they have. But with Uranus and Mars going through Taurus, it's not stable anyway. It hasn't been for years with Uranus there. So hard to say how that plays out then. If they were different planets opposing in those signs, it might be a little more dramatic, but right now there's just so much change in the air. You know, so will Mars and Uranus emphasize another change, and Scorpio, you know, that sort of says, well, let's just, you know, keep looking and let's just keep this under wraps. Uranus can make things just explode and whoops, there it is. It sort of has a feeling of like, because it's also in the 7th house of relationships and open enemies, it could be some sudden revelation or admission or something like that in the air that just whoop, can't keep that hushed anymore. It's just out there kind of feeling. You know, it's hard to say how that'll play out without looking at specific situations and people. But in our own lives, with just this being a new moon chart, well, do you want to take a look at that yourself? Is there stuff going on in your close relationships? Hopefully you don't have open enemies, but maybe we do. Open enemies, I mean, it sounds so dramatic, but I'd say very few people have an actual open enemy, but they might have, you know, you might have people around you that are competitive or jealous. So that maybe that'll crop up. Maybe people have some unexpected reaction to something, possibly a more volatile reaction because it's Mars Uranus. Just remember that when Mars and Uranus are reacting in Taurus, it's because it feels its security is threatened. And sometimes, addressing it from that angle might help cool it down, calm it down. So, yeah. The other thing with the Leo moon, if you do get into these kind of sudden unexpected conflicts, is you want to give the person as much genuine support and praise for who they are as you can. So for example, let's say it is the envy jealousy theme that plays out. Instead of getting mad or like, why are you being jealous? Try instead to boost that other person up, because then they feel maybe special or seen. And then that should help the threat feel less. And that might minimize some of the, volatile energy that has. However, take a look at this. We've got Pluto here opposing the moon and sun too. So expect ego eruptions. Pluto opposite the moon. Now, usually that would suggest power trips, emotional manipulation, difficulty with women. And that can even include for women. So the main thing with Pluto opposite the moon you want to watch for is like manipulation and power plays, emotional ones. So do want to be a little careful of that aspect, especially when I've mentioned these other surprise, eccentric, whoops, surprise, whoa, that was just exposed kind of feeling with Uranus and Mars in Taurus. And we also have Mercury opposite Saturn down here. Again, Saturn wants to structure things. It's very serious. It wants to be sort of the teacher, the timekeeper, the foundation. Think of it like the authority figure in the room, Saturn. When you got somebody who knows their stuff, serious mood, everything has to be very diligently done, and you must take their thoughts, their ideas, their facts seriously with Saturn. Then you got Mercury and Leo. That would be much more like a game show host or a talk show person, a celebrity, a newscaster. Because Mercury is in Leo, it's like someone that likes to talk, likes to shine, likes to be playful, likes to keep things, that's why I say something like newscasters, not so much like the serious news, but let's just say not the most reputable news channels, I won't say names, they would have more of a Mercury in Leo where there could be a lot of sensationalizing things. And then Saturn and Aquarius would be just so offended. Like, what are you doing? That is serious. Don't make light of that. And Mercury and Leo would be doing it for the sake of keeping things light so it doesn't get too heavy, still communicating the message in a way they think is more accessible to more people. But Saturn and Aquarius is down there going, that's not very informed. That's not accurate. That sort of betrays the tone of what's going on. So that's another opposition going on right now, besides the moon Pluto. So, what you sort of feel in the air here is potential conflicts, right? Potential misunderstandings and conflicts, and potential to manipulate or be jealous. I mean, this is what the chart is saying, but I have to tell you, my feeling of this moon isn't as bad as the chart looks for some reason. But things can play out in and around us. It doesn't have to be your personal life that's doing this. But I mean, it's hard to say. If we just go, if I just stick with North American politics and what's going on with the hearings and the indictments for January 6th, they're making progress, it seems, and maybe some of these oppositions and sudden whoops, there it is, it came out kind of moments, jealousies, betrayals, intrigues, anything could come out and expose and change the game. That's just one example based on North America, but it could be anything. Now, I'm sure some of you listening to this are going, oh God, maybe I should just like lay low and stay home and not bother talking to anybody if this is in the air. But I don't think you've got to be that worried about it. I think if you're honest and tune in to your intuition about what's going on with people, it shouldn't be that big a surprise when you get maybe a different reaction than you expected, or even somebody that out of nowhere seems to have a bit of an outburst. I mean, I think if you're honest with your intuition, you might go, you know what, I am a bit surprised, but I'm not completely surprised. I sort of sensed something was up with this person. And so, as always, I always encourage people to tune into your intuition to navigate things like this. That same Saturn that is oh so serious right now is also squaring off with Mars, Uranus, North Node, South Node. So once again, it's like trying to gain an intellectual authority, trying to keep things more fair, diverse, inclusive, accurate. Again, in the midst of this is just coming out, and no, we don't want that out. It's an interesting energy. It's hard to sort of pinpoint closer than that, because this fixed square energy, sometimes it can really create major arguments, battles, falling outs, but sometimes it just holds itself. Like, it's a square, none of us is budging. And sometimes not much happens overtly. The tension is still felt inside or in the situation, but it doesn't always necessarily bust out. So it's a little hard to say, but I do feel whatever does go on feels like it could be more behind the scenes or covert. And if it's on the political stage or the news, I would expect something a bit shocking to come out. Maybe not right this new moon, but when that Uranus Mars hits the North Node, I'm expecting something. I'd say within the next month, we get some sort of what kind of announcement or news or something happens. And I don't feel it's going to be terrible, by the way. I just feel it'll be a bit of a shock. So let's take a look now at some of the good aspects here. And we've got Pluto making a good aspect with Uranus Mars North Node. So to me, that always speaks about, again, like in the bigger picture of things, if Pluto is working well with Uranus and Mars in North Node, even if we're going through upheaval, death and rebirth of self, of society, it is pulling us towards where we need to go in the future. It's just that it's going to pull some of us kicking and screaming, and others of us are going to go, oh, I feel liberated. Thank God this is just, some people feel good when things sort of fall apart and you start from scratch. Other people feel terrified. It's really depends on your philosophy of life. So, but the planets to me are saying, we're moving you towards where the world needs to go right now. So yeah, you might feel a little bit unsettled, but the Pluto, the transformer, working with Uranus and Mars, this is big action towards that North Node and Taurus, which is sort of, as I keep saying, a new normal that we haven't kind of envisioned yet. It's not our old system of work. It's not our old system of money and banking. It's not the security as we knew it before with our routines. It's going to be new ones. And it might secure itself in a new way over the next few years. I don't feel it's going to be automatic. We're just going to get, again, little wake ups and little, oh, and we're all readjusting, all of us, all the time right now. Readjust, realign. Not sure what it's going to look like. Not sure whether we can plan anything. Keep adapting, you know, and at some point we're going to emerge and look back before 2020 and go, wow, look how far society has changed, you know? The other positives are, look at that, we've got Jupiter and Chiron, so not always easy in Aries. Jupiter is going to emphasize Chiron, which is our wound of ourself. Remember, Leo. Me, it's about me. Aries is, again, about the self in a bit of a deeper way, more primal kind of way. Chiron and Aries, like, do you have a sense of yourself? Do you know yourself? Do you know who you are? If we stripped away your job title and where you live and your family and you're standing somewhere brand new, do you know who you are? Do you have a good sense of that deep sense of yourself that you will defend and protect yourself? That you know who you are no matter what room you walk into? That's Chiron and Aries. That's the work of Chiron and Aries. And Jupiter and Aries, it's coming along and emphasizing that. So it's like, do you know yourself? Do you have a sense of yourself? Really, really, really? Now it's making good aspects here to Sun, Moon, and Mercury in Leo. See, Leo already knows who it is, and it's like, I know who I am. I like who I am. Now I want to share it with you. So let's, you know, let me tell you this. Let me do this. Let me show you that. Let me perform for you. Let me lead you. Let me do that for you. You know, it's excited to share itself. So that sort of works nicely. So again, though, we can either see some really self-indulgent moments with all that, do I have a self? Oh, look at me. I want to share myself. You know, it could go into the self-indulgent moments, but it could also be really nice. It might help you actually take that center stage and get up with the microphone. I don't know. It might help you release something and say, this is who I am. You know, I'm good in my skin. This is who I am. I'm fine. That might help you overcome whatever opposition or jealousy or whatever anybody else might want to say or do. That's the strongest part of the chart. That's the stronghold. The other Pluto Uranus thing is bigger picture, you know, the Jupiter and the moon and sun, Chiron and Mercury, that's much more the personal. So really thinking about, do you know yourself well? Do you share yourself well with the world? Are you in balance with that? Do you need to do something to bring yourself out in the open a little more? Even though it's a moon in Leo that is shy to do so, trying to find the right conditions, the right people, the right group, the right tribe that you can bring yourself out to shine more is the emphasis of this chart. So we're going to stop the share and I'm going to take a look at the cards. I need some water. If you enjoy my free content, my free videos, I would love it if you would head to Patreon and contribute. Just in general, I'm gonna probably redo Patreon pretty soon, what I offer and what the basic membership is. If you want to suggest a basic membership that you feel is fair, please do, because sometimes a lot of us feel like we're shooting in the dark online with what people feel is worth what these days. Changes so fast. So if you have a suggestion, that you would find fair and you'd be willing to contribute just to my years and years of giving out free stuff, I'd be happy to hear your opinion. Otherwise, I'm going to have other things that will come probably in the fall. After my big trip, I still am getting my head and my life reorganized. And for me, fall is like a new year, because I guess all the years of it being a new school year, to me, September feels like the new year more than January. So I'm getting things together, and now would be a great time to give me your suggestions so that I can implement something new that's relevant for you online. All right. And of course, if you want a private reading, then you can message me, and my website's down below. Got to plug my book one more time. Probably already know. Here's my book. I do intend to do lives on YouTube with my book pretty soon, again, for fall. I'll just read a little bit of it and discuss, and then I might give a few free readings at the end, but it's not going to be like Fast and Furious free readings kind of thing like I see other people doing, because I don't read that fast, the comments. Let's take a look now at the tarot for this new moon. And then I'm going to use a different tarot deck for the readings for each sign. So that should be fun. I'm going to use the Druidic Tarot for that. All right. Just cutting them in 3. I'm going to burn my sage too. You can just imagine this is all waving around you as well. Just feels so good. All right. So our first card here is the 10 of Cups. 10 of Cups is usually as it sort of looks like. It's full. This is a card of water, but it's red. So what does that make? You know, hot water, steam. The top of it looks like, the bottom looks like a neck, and it looks like a face. And the top of it looks like a cloud over the head. So that could mean brain fog, overwhelm, headaches, feeling burnt out, maybe blurry vision, something like that. You might be really tired, really overwhelmed right now, emotionally overloaded. And it might not be because of current things, it might just be accumulation. We all have that after COVID. And we've got the 10 of Discs. So this is nice. Usually it says wealth. Sometimes it can mean a chunk of money that comes to us. Sometimes a chunk of money you have to give as well. But a lot of the time it's an inheritance type of card. But over the years, it's not like every person that pulls the card has an inheritance coming. So sometimes I've seen this card show up when people receive unemployment benefits, tax returns, investment, stuff that comes in. Somebody loans you something that you need, but it's money that comes in one sum for something that you need. Then we've got the 5 of Cups, which is more emotional again. So it says disappointment. It's a Scorpio card. Is it Mars? Yeah, Mars and Scorpio. Here the cups are dry, the water's dark. Again, it's a water card that's red. So we see emotion that is, when you think of emotion and you think of the color red, it's going to talk a lot about feeling angry, feeling frustrated. And it says disappointment. So, that's one aspect of this chart that we drew. You might be feeling disappointed in people or in yourself. But we have the Ace of Swords. So finally some air, some clarity, something light, a flash, a good idea, a sudden vision or way forward, clearing of the air, saying things out loud, clearing the deck. Things get clearer, they feel happier, they feel much lighter. King of Discs, so, you know, stable, reliable. This is very Taurus or Capricorn-like card. He's got his horse, he's got his club, he's got his armor and his headdress and his shield, and he's got his land and it's fertile. So this guy has a lot to offer. He just might be a little bit slow to get things done. He takes his time when it comes to committing, whether that's relationship or to something he says he'll do, because when he gives his word, he means his word and he will follow through. He doesn't go back on it. So this is a nice guy to have around. Just try to figure out, well, who fits that card for you. And then we've got the Four of Wands, Venus and Aries. So again, thinking of yourself, but in a good way. Venus and Aries doesn't have trouble liking itself. It doesn't have trouble with asking or telling or saying what it wants. And they desire to have fun. And again, be self-expressive. And completion, well, you know, it's got a circle and it's sort of containing the fire. Could look like a campfire has begun in the middle of the card. Or you could say the wands are keeping the fire down from getting out of control. So that's sort of interesting. It's protected by, you know, by a golden circle. So it sort of looks like, right, with Venus and Aries, that the fire, meaning your will, your anger, your passion, is there and it's alive in a good way, but it's in control. So it can be used in a great way for, you know, sports, music, playing, I don't know, getting involved in your hobbies, being social with people, and again, just having fun and bringing more of your personality out. Oh, that's nice. And we have the sun, which is also very Leo, right? Leo rules it. And so it's very joyful and playful as well. It's like innocent kind of fun, lighthearted, includes people, but doesn't have to work hard to include everybody. It just does. It's just busy having a good time and come on with us. You know, that kind of attitude. Not like, let's have a meeting and make sure everybody's included. Oh, we didn't. No, it's just like, it's out there having a barbecue and they see somebody alone. You hungry? You want to come eat? You know, that's sort of the sun. Light, easy, inclusive, joyful, playful. Very Leo moon. That's a great card for this. Oh my goodness, August fire. Now we've got the Ace of Wands as well. 2 aces in the reading. So a lot of us are ready for some change, some, maybe you're ready to sort of simplify, clarify, make amends, clear the deck, say enough, new chapter, please, you know? 2 aces is like new beginnings for sure, fresh starts. And the Ace of Wands has a lot of will. The Ace of Swords is that's what I want. You know, Ace of Wands is like, I'm going to go do it. Just, that's it. That's all the Ace of Wands is. I'm going to do this. Kind of. And they start. And our last card, very lovely, Peace. 2 of Swords, the Moon in Libra. So go out there with your newfound joy, your wisdom, your new ideas for your next whatever it is. And this card softens it. It wants to get along with others. It wants others involved. It wants others to be all right with things. And it's diplomatic. It's going to talk to people in a gentle way and make sure that there's agreements. There could be some choices to be made. Like, it's a Libra card. There's 2. It's like weighing, but it's not crazy. It doesn't feel crazy with that. Moon in Libra wants everyone to get along and wants everything to be fair. And if there's a little hint of beauty and romance, well, that's nice too. So it's very interesting, the reading. You sort of pull out of a mood, a funky, it's got really a feeling of like resolving something with someone, or making a decision, or resolving something, and just like it's really letting it go quite easily, and moving on, moving forward, and being more conscious of how everybody else feels about things along the way. This is a nice reading. So I don't even know how to phrase the next question for the signs, because the chart sounds completely different from what the cards just said, doesn't it? And that's the vibe I'm getting too. So what's that mean? There's contradictions in the air. Let's just see. Let's do something nice. How do you shine? How do you bring yourself forward and bring yourself out of your shell? How do you be more seen? How do you express yourself better? That would be a good Leo moon question. So as I mentioned, we're using the Druid tarot for this. So the images will be nice, they'll be different. And sometimes just different imagery for me helps, just different energy, different things come through when I channel on different cards. So yes, that's what we'll do. How do you bring yourself out of your shell, shine? How do you shine and be seen more? All right, Aries. Wow, okay. The Tower. Well, okay, the Tower is not an easy card. It's a transformation card where things are, you've had signs, you've had warnings, you're not listening to something, and then all of a sudden the lightning hits the tower, and you're forced to make changes. You're forced. So that's sort of a weird interpretation with that question. So give me a second. How do you need to shine more with the Tower? Feeling I get is that there are some wake-up calls for you about either how you interact with others, or how compatible you truly are with some of the people around. I get a feeling more like of shifting your circle a bit. And it's going to liberate you. The Tower always feels destructive when it happens, and then you feel liberated after it's done. So for you, maybe this new moon could bring some changes in your circle, who you're around. And with that question in mind, think about who do you feel the best with? Who do you feel most yourself with? Who do you feel you can bring out more of a range of your personality with? And if you feel that you're around people that stifle that, the Tower card might come and hit you, that this isn't really working so well anymore. Because the other alternative interpretation would be to tell you that you have to force things a little harder to be seen. But I don't get a feeling with most Aries that that's the case. That could backfire. So that's what I'm going to leave it at for you, Aries. Taurus. The Hermit. Look how beautiful these cards are, though, right? Now, so Taurus, how do you express yourself and be seen more? And then it gives us the Hermit, which is all about solitude. So here's an irony for you, right? Sometimes when you want to be seen, or you feel people aren't listening, you got to ask yourself, have I been, seeking validation? Have I been insecure and wanting people's approval? And maybe they sense that. And so they're not giving you the validation. And sometimes if you pull back into yourself enough and you center yourself, you're going to speak from a different place, a different part of you that is truer to yourself and probably more wise and more calm. And then people are going to listen and hear you better. Wow, that's a beautiful message. I love that. Okay, Geminis. Ten of Wands. Okay, that's a difficult card as well, even though I love the artwork on them. As you can see, he's climbing up and he's got all his wands on his back and he looks like he has to defend himself at any minute. He looks nervous. Like a lot of the time, this card, the Ten of Wands, the wands will look very heavy and oppressive on the back. This looks pretty light load. So the heaviness here is that he's carrying stuff and he doesn't seem to trust anyone. Like anybody could attack him at any minute, it feels like. So Gemini, how do you express yourself more and feel seen? I would ask the question then, do you feel, A, are you carrying the weight of others too much and it's preventing you? Like, you know, he's doubled over and bent over here. Are you carrying too much weight of other people's problems and ideas? Other people accommodating, towing the line, I don't know, feeling like you're in the middle of whatever it is, because that will prevent you from your self-expression. And the second thing would be, are you nervous that if you do, that you will be criticized or attacked? So I would suggest experimenting with coming out of your shell a bit more. And again, intuitively pay attention to if you feel somebody is threatened or attacking what you're saying. It'll just give you information about who you're more compatible with. We're not saying to let go of people completely, but we're looking for the tribe. The question is, you know, looking for your right crowd or your right conditions to shine more right now. So again, you might be feeling that you're not quite around the right people to do so. Cancer. Ah, we've got the Ten of Cups. How do you shine? Well, this is pretty clear. Look at that. There's like a family, there's drinks, they're having a dinner or something, there's a rainbow in the background. So you definitely shine in small groups and intimate settings. And that I could have told you without the Ten of Cups. Cancers need to feel like cozy in their shell, surrounded by people that they know already. They accept them before they'll let themselves come out of their crab shell. So maybe right now, to feel that need, maybe you can create a family gathering or a gathering of friends, invite people that you feel safe with. I get a good feeling like you're pretty good right now, but if you do need, how do I say this? Like, I don't get a feeling like you're in distress, but you know, you might be wanting to go more the playful side. Maybe you're feeling the need to be more playful or silly. So you want to invite or create like a little dinner or something of people that you feel safe with, and then just enjoy yourself. And I guess it's saying to have a few drinks available for people. I don't know. Also, there is a child here on her knee, and a little older child. So another avenue of this message would be to let yourself shine in and around kids, babies. Maybe that's one area that a certain side of your personality comes out more easily, and that could be fun and joyful for you. All right, Leos. And we've got the Ace of Wands. Look how beautiful that Ace of Wands is. Oh, wow. Okay. So we have a beautiful deer contemplating this vision of the wand and all the leaves sort of falling from the wand. as it looks like it's being launched up to the sun. And he's over, or she's over, looks like a he, over a cavern. Hard to say whether he's arrived at some sort of pinnacle and he's just enjoying the vision, or whether he wants to jump across. But it's interesting because it looks to me like the deer is sort of reverent, you know, like, wow, look at what I'm witnessing. This is amazing. This wand is going straight towards the sun like a rocket. So you might, is that the moon on the card over here? I'm going to check. Yep, that's the moon as well. Look at that. So we've got the sun and the moon on the Ace of Wands. So that's interesting. Sun and moon in Leo right now, and sun and moon on your card. What this tells me right now is for you to feel more validated and seen, you need bigger goals. You need to raise the bar on your goals. And as you do, and as you get clear on them, to tell people. Obviously not everybody. It doesn't have a feeling of like, oh, only tell a few people. It doesn't feel like that. It doesn't feel like hide it, but it's just like, you know, discern, but start to tell people, start to assert and say out loud your will and your goals. And people will see the visionary side of you, or the ambitious side of you that maybe you haven't brought out in a while. That's a nice message. All right, Virgos. We got the 9 of Wands. So the 9 looks more heavy than the 10. In the 10 of Wands, he's gathered them all on his back. The 9 here, look at him. He's like, they're all pointed. They're facing away like an enemy could crawl up the, you know, the cliff and attack. And he's holding watch and ready to defend his turf. So Virgo, do you feel like you have to be defending yourself from something or someone? Because that's a big blocker as far as wanting to express yourself and feel playful and happy and seen. If you feel you have to have 9 wands in the ground to protect people from attacking you, you're not in a joyful, playful mindset. So I would also, again, take a look at your entourage and really ask yourself if you're around the right crowd where you feel seen. And if you do say yes, that you do, well, then maybe it's still heeding, like it's a bit of a warning that as you take your place more and you let yourself be more expressive, share your opinions, share more of your innermost ideas, expect a little pushback or opposition from people that you maybe didn't expect. And but keep defending yourself anyway, if you really passionately feel it. Leo moon is, you know, really all about, like, you're the sun. You're the sun. You're the center of your universe. You can't be a jerk about it, but you get to be the center of your universe sometimes. If you get my meaning, like, it's a tricky line, but you at some point, you know, like little kids, they don't sit there and go, oh, should I laugh loud right now? No, they're just laughing because it's, you know, they find it funny. We need a bit of that. We need a bit of, like, not worrying, not being so worried about everything we say and do and how it's interpreted. So you got to give yourself the right place, the right people to do that with sometimes. All right, Libras. Two of Pentacles. Okay. Beautiful card. Huh? So this definitely tells me it would be helpful for you to express yourself better if you took some time to commune in nature. You might need a break, some time out, some to sit by the water or sit with the trees and listen to the rocks and whatever you do, because this card means like she's really got to get grounded, or she's taking time to get centered and grounded. And she's got, you know, choices to make, because she's got these two pentacles thrown in the air like balls that are balls in the air. Very Libra-like in a sense, even though it's not a Libra card, because there's two and she's juggling and she's probably got things to decide. There's also two ships out behind her. So maybe one ball, one pentacle represents one ship and one represents the other. She might be thinking of two different people, two different projects to sail, two different places she wants to go. But she's very centered in nature, almost like meditative, as she's contemplating. So it's not so much about, you know, you coming out of your shell, it seems here. It seems to me the first step is like more of that Jupiter, Aries, Chiron, Aries kind of message I mentioned, like getting really clear on yourself and what you want and your decision before you start worrying about, are they seeing me or hearing me? All right. There is a nice peacefulness to that card, though, I have to say. Scorpios. You've got the Princess of Wands. Very nice. So this is, you know, usually a really fiery temperament person, very impulsive, courageous, adventurous, you know, that sort of fearless person who just jumps in without really planning too much. That's not typically a very Scorpio trait to do that. Scorpio might jump in and be bold, but they'll have thought about it first. Princess of Wands is like, oh, what's over there? Let's go. Oh, there could be bears. Oh, well, let's go see, kind of attitude. So definitely this would say, if you want to show more of yourself to the world, if you're ready to come out of your shell a little bit and feel seen, show us your more spontaneous side, your more courageous ideas, your share some times or anecdotes when you did something last minute or that seems sort of crazy, because you surely have. You just don't want us to know. But if you share a little bit of that side with us, I think people will sort of open their eyes and go, oh, there's a whole other aspect to this person. It lets them into your life, to some of your stories. And also this card, look how well dressed she is. So I'm getting a message also, like maybe the way you want to be expressive and seen and bring yourself out could be with the way you dress. You might want to play around with that right now. It's sort of a fun one. Sagittarius. The King of Pentacles. Look at the fire behind him. You definitely don't mess with him, do you? The way we look at him. He looks like a guy who's been there, done that, got the t-shirt. Nothing surprises me. Nothing's gonna pull the wool over my eyes either. And I've got the means to help you, but I won't just give it to you just because you're asking. So he looks like a bit of a tough dad kind of feeling, or the fire behind him is like he's got a lot of passion and will. He's just not really showing us outright. Even the way he's sitting is like he's showing that he's comfortable. He's casual enough to sit like that in front of people on a throne. It's not formal. It's like, this is my throne and I'm relaxed and I'll sit how I want. So that's an interesting message. I wonder whether you've got someone around you like this. And that could mean anything. That could mean that you want to be seen more by this person, or that you need to show who you are more to this person. If you want their help, funding, approval, go ahead. It could also be somebody that in your past made you nervous to be yourself, who's like this, that you're overcoming this person, this influence in your life. And if it represents you, then it would sort of say, if you want to be seen more by others and shine, there's sort of a layer of like defensiveness he has to drop, because he's giving us this like, this is my place, don't mess with me feeling. Okay. Why do you need to prove that to us? You know, he needs to relax a little bit. So you might want to ask yourself about that. Are there defenses that you could work on relaxing that would make you a little more accessible to people, and then they will be more receptive to seeing you and hearing your many, 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 many ideas and plans. This was a complex one. I like it. Okay, Capricorn, let's see for you. The High Priestess. Very nice. So as you see, she's at her altar. It's a crescent moon, not a new moon, but pretty close. She's got her book of magic, perhaps, by a river, communing on a night, trusting her guides, trusting herself. So this basically means for you to feel more self-expressive, relaxed, and free, you need to commune with your spirit. You need to spend time doing something you find sacred, connecting to your inner self, trusting your gut, and not worrying about anything but your relationship to your higher self and your higher power. Trusting that if you need to do something, say something, express something, and you feel that it's very much aligned for you to do so truly, that it will have a good effect regardless of how people react to it. It's a powerful card for trusting your own self and your own intuition and being in your own process, not trying to prove or show anything to anyone. It's about your connection to you and to your spirit guides. Wow. Aquarius, let's see for you. Got the Queen of Swords. All right. Look at her. Beautiful. Well, a lot of Aquarians might be a Queen of Swords. It's an air sign. She's a mature woman. I want to see what she's holding here. Yeah, looks like she's holding a giant gemstone in her arm, on her arm. She's facing the breeze. She looks pretty comfortable. A little bit of spikiness to her throne, you know, we'd expect that. She's open and she's receptive and she's listening to herself and her higher power, but she's also ready to defend herself if need be. So how does she express herself or show people? Well, I love the purple. Look at that purple, very majestic color, right? I wonder whether for you, again, it's similar to what we said for Scorpio. There's something about the clothing, about the colors, something about showing us your personality outwardly by how you carry yourself, how you dress, how you know, your accessories or something like that. You can have fun with your personality on that level. I mean, this billion-dollar fashion industry, well, a billion, but there's a lot. Millions and millions of dollars in fashion for that very reason, because it's functional for most people, but for a lot of people, it's a statement of who you are by what you're wearing and carrying, and people judge. People will judge it. Whether they think they are or not, they are. So maybe you want to look at that like, I already know one Aquarian friend who's going through this with, what am I going to wear? to an interview. So that's not exactly all why I'm saying that, but it's fitting. The other thing, yeah, if she wants to be more expressive, so you can see her eyes are closed. So that to me would suggest, okay, so open them. And that's always really a symbolic message right there. I want to shine. I want people to see more who I am, and my eyes are closed and I'm looking sort of down. So how am I going to know who sees me and who doesn't? My eyes are closed. It's sort of somebody who's like, I'm good with who I am. I don't care. I'll close my eyes. But they do care. So it's sort of like, in this case, open your eyes and admit that there's certain people you do really care about, and you care how they see you. And there might be something that opens the doorway for how you could be more expressive with that person once you figure out who they are. All right, Pisces. Ah, lovely. 9 of Pentacles. Oh, that's beautiful. So it looks like that's a falcon, perhaps. Yeah, I think it's a falcon. And you see the 9 pentacles carved into the stone, which definitely speaks of stability and wealth. The falcon also would have been like a status symbol. So even though she's dressed sort of simply, there's some status there for sure. She's hanging onto a branch, almost like you can't hide behind that branch, but she's behind the branch, which is funny, interesting. So it's like you're sort of hiding, but not really, hiding in plain sight. So I wonder whether you're feeling like that as well, whether you feel like you're sort of like, why am I not visible? I feel like I'm out here, but I feel like people don't really see me, or something like that. Or like, I want them to see me, but not really. So I'm going to hide, but not really. It's a bit conflicted when it comes to like the question of how do I shine more? If you look at her face closer, her face is quite sort of bland, unexpressive. And I also wonder then, for you as a message, is it possible that to express yourself better and for people to see you and receive you more, that you can check and see that you are reacting and showing your smile, showing your moods, showing a range of emotion, because then that makes you more approachable, and it shows you, you know, who your tribe is and isn't. So instead of this sort of hanging back and sort of hiding, but not really kind of feeling and not really saying it, and being neutral, you know, that's opposite kind of feeling of Leo, right? Being neutral and hiding. So I would say for now, the main message would be like, just check yourself when you're happy. Are you smiling? Do you smile at people? Let yourself show your moods a little bit more to people, to let yourself out and let them in. Wow, this was beautiful, these cards with this reading. I like it. So I might use them again next month for the full moon, I mean. All right. So once again, if you'd like to reach me for a private reading, then it's river-rain.com, or you can find my email below the video. And please do send me your suggestions for Patreon. If there's something that you'd like to see that you would actually subscribe to, or if there's a general amount that you find you think is fair for a general support of free content, then you let me know. Otherwise, I'm just going to go in there and try to play around with it again. I'm really I really would like to have a membership community, not because of the money. It's because when people join something and you show that you're willing to commit to it with a few bucks a month, it lets me know who's serious, because there's, as we all know, there's so many people trolling and sort of poisoning the online environment when everything's free. And so everybody that I see is going towards the membership model so that we can have a little more closed, a little more facilitation, a little more control over the trolling. And then I'll be able to create so many more interesting things when there's a group that's actually committed to being there. So this is what I am going towards. And I would love to know from you what you would like if I had a membership group, and also what you would be willing to donate for that. So please let me know. And I wish you a wonderful new moon, and we'll see you back at the full moon in Aquarius a couple weeks from now.